everybody. How are you doing? Yeah, we're in the middle of a beautiful summer. I just came late last night back from the extraordinary Smoky Mountains in Tennessee, and I was very lucky to be able to have a chance to see again dear friends Jim Stevens and his lovely wife. He wrote this book. It's called 101 Proofs for God. And this couple, his family, they're just really lovely, full of life and light, so healthy, awesome. So that was really great to see them. Yeah. So I am going to jump ahead a little bit because I wanted to start us off with reading um, chapter 52, or the proof for the existence of God, number 52. And it's called Garbage In, Garbage Out. Okay? So here we go. In the early days of computers, about 1963, a certain phrase arose as a caution against blindly believing whatever results would come out of a computer. Too much faith, like blind belief in a machine, could easily lead to false results and disastrous decisions. That phrase was garbage in, garbage out. And it meant that everyone should be super vigilant against assuming something was true just because a computer model said it. It was based on the obvious truth that even the most perfect computer program in the world would produce garbage if given faulty data as input. Computers do not do the right thing as much as we would hope. They, they do only and precisely what they are programmed to do. There is a corollary as well. Even if you were to put the perfect, infallible data into a computer, if the software program has a bug in it, then again, the results will be faulty. I once owned a calculator that worked just fine almost all of the time, but it must have had a minor short somewhere in its circuitry, because when doing one particular calculation, it always got the wrong answer. I discovered it by accident because my spreadsheet was giving me a different answer. It was so hard to believe at first. That was a pretty faith-breaking experience. My faith in that calculator being correct and other calculations was destroyed. And I ended up throwing it away. That's what Jim did. My contention is that if you are looking for the origin of species, Darwin, or for that matter, the origin of anything else, you cannot leave out intelligence as a contributing factor. A purely mechanistic model doesn't make rational sense from the entirety of our experience of life. Let me read this again. A purely mechanistic model doesn't make rational sense from the entirety of our experience of life. We are all familiar with the process of creation by humans. An artist, for example, first has an idea in his mind. The idea is invisible and insubstantial, but it has a reality to it. No one would deny its existence, nor would anyone deny that there was intelligence at the source of the idea. Without the intelligence first, then the idea next, there would never be the artist's painting. Order and complexity originate from an invisible idea. Randomness and chaos do not become ordered unless acted upon by a force that originated with an invisible intelligence and an idea. In fact, we know that randomness and chaos tend toward greater and greater randomness if left alone. Okay? So that's something that Jim talks about in his Proof for God number 31. To try to explain order and complexity, not to mention life itself, by purely mechanical or mechanistic causes, totally ignoring any invisible intelligence is garbage in. all the observed processes of nature are being violated. Garbage out is to be expected, no matter how good your program or explanation is. Imagine some pictures of archaeological excavations of ancient ruins. Suppose I decide to believe that it was impossible for human beings to have existed in the place where the ruins were found. I would have to come up with an explanation that excluded intelligence for the formations right before my eyes. Let's call it the theory of the evolution of ancient ruins. Random storms and winds and earthquakes must be the cause. Maybe we have to add in bacteria and small animals too. These forces have left behind complex rock because there was no intelligence involved. We can only talk about natural forces and not supernatural or invisible ones. Surely we would get deeply caught up in the processes of the storm systems and the flow of water, how winds form patterns on sand dunes, and how earthquakes shear off rock surfaces. Are you seeing the garbage in here? We combine all the forces together and tell a wonderful story about how it all must have happened. We even still recognize the odds are millions and millions to one that it could have happened. But there it is right there in front of our eyes, so we know it happened. Just given enough time and the odds somehow worked out so that it must have happened the way we imagined. Our story of how it happened took a lot of intelligence to come up with. But we are certain there could not have been any intelligent force working to create the ruins, right? We're certain of that because we decided that at the beginning. These explanations are the best we can come up with using all of our scientific abilities in this age, so they must be correct. We don't need to resort to some idea of intelligent designer or God. Sure, there are some gaps, but they will be worked out by future scientists. Besides that, we are all in agreement, minus a few religious fanatics and ignorant peoples. Garbage out. Any rational person looking at those pictures of ancient ruins as simple as the design and order are, immediately concludes that there was an intelligent source. The more complex and complicated the ruins become, then the greater intelligence is assumed for the creators of those ruins. The complexity of a single cell is many orders of magnitude more complicated than these ancient ruins, and yet some people insist a cell could come about by random mutation. Garbage out. Intelligence is invisible, but it is still real, so there must be God. Okay. Thank you so much, Jim, for that. That was truly a wonderful way to start again. Okay, I hope everyone's having a wonderful summer, and I will see you another time. Bye. Take care.